Hey guys, welcome back. And are you ready? Ready for your first lesson of Python here? We're going to start to code in Python. So I'm going to give you some notes here, and it would behoove you. There's a great SAT word, behoove. Behoove you to maybe like code along with me in the video. There's also some notes there. You can kind of see the notes running in a Google Doc. And so I'm going to click this Replit link and get started. Now I'm already logged in. If it's your first time, you're going to need to create an account. I would just use your Google login. It's going to ask you to pick like 3 programming languages. Doesn't really matter. Definitely though want to pick Python. I also have HTML and Swift, and you can always add these later. So I am going to just basically I want to code in Python. Here's just giving me a random name which works perfect, and I'm going to click Create by Replit. And I'm going to get a little work environment here in just a few moments. There we go. It's loading. And I'm going to start just by, you don't have to do this part, but I'm just going to swing that out of the way so that you can see a little bit more of my screen. And so here is our coding environment. So we're going to code here. And on the right, you're going to see your program run just by simply clicking the play button. So let's get started. And the first thing I want to show you is basically how to hash something out. All right, so what does that mean? And that basically disables your code or allows you to add notes. We'll be doing a lot of that. So just to kind of show you, for example, so I'm going to tell it to print something, and it's going to print hello world. All right, so let me just run that quick, and we can see it says hello world. Now, the moment I add a hashtag in front of you, you can see it grayed out, but if I hit play, nothing's showing out because I've simply hashed out that. And so you could do that for two things. One, for some reason, if you just don't want the, well, actually I guess 3, you don't want the code to run for some reason, or those certain lines of code, you could hash it out. If it's not working, and sometimes there's an error in that line, maybe you're struggling to know what's wrong, you could just hash it out, and that line won't run, and you don't have to worry about it for the time being. Or finally, you could just add some notes, and that's what we'll be doing. Excuse me. All right, so let's keep moving on here and just kind of print something out. And so printing information on the screen. All right, so as you saw a moment ago, print. And I'm going to just kind of add the string again, like hello world, and add a comma there. There we go. And we'll hit play, and we can see hello world is printing. So this purple is sort of the key word we're seeing happen there. The string is sort of in red. Some of the supporting code is just in black letters there. So there I am, print, and then basically got a string there, and whatever I write there, it will print. And so I could print another one. It's nice to have you here! Exclamation point. And so let's print that, and we can see it, just prints whatever I'm typing in that space. Now, should you forget the quotation marks? And let's print it now. What are we going to get here? Yeah, I've got a syntax error because it's all confused. So we definitely got to have those quotation marks in there. All right, what the heck's going on? There we go. All right, and let's just run it again, make sure there's no problems. Yep, looking good. Okay, awesome. All right, so now let's learn how to declare a variable. And so declaring a variable looks like this. So we have to give the variable a name. And think about that. We've done that a lot in App Inventor. And so, we had your scores, and we had guesses left, and we had pizza size, and basically you would often declare a global variable, so we had to give that global variable a name, and then we plug something in there. Sometimes it was an integer or a float, sometimes it was a text string, and so this is very similar. So I've declared my variable name, which is the super lame name of variable name, equals what? Well, I could have it store my name. So there it is, storing my name. And if I click play, absolutely nothing happens because it's simply storing it, and so that's going on in the background, but we're not being able to see that. So I could have it store a name. I could have it store a number if I want. So there it's storing a number. I could have like an integer. I could have it store a float. I could have it store a Boolean if I wanted. Probably often though we're having it store either a string, or we're having it store some kind of integer or float. So variable one, I would like it to store that. And let's declare another one here. So variable name, I'm going to call this 2 equals, and I'll say true. And so again, we talk about different data types there, and we know what that is going to be. So we should hopefully know what that one is, right? And there's another data type. And there's variable 4, and there's yet another type of data type. So I've declared a variable, and I've declared 4 different variables, and each one is a different data type. Now, if we weren't sure what they were, if you're not sure, so we could, check the data types, or the variable types, I should say. Yeah, there we go, variable data types, we'll call it. And so let's find out. So I'm going to say print. We'll print what? We'll print type. And what do we mean by type? Well, what kind of data type is it? So I'm going to say variable name. All right, and so it's going to not print what the variable is, because I could just say, hey, print, and it would print, text. If I said print that, let's just print it, and I'll show you what I mean. There it goes. So it's classes string. Let me just do it just a little bit differently, just to kind of show you what I'm getting at here. Print, and let's just say variable name. And so there's a difference here. So this one, the first one, is actually going to print whatever the variable is storing, in this case, text. In this version, it's going to print whatever the data type is. And so here we can see, hey, so it's printing text, and then here it's just printing the data type. All right, so let's continue on like that. So hey, print, and I'll say type, and then I'll say variable name 2. And let's hit print and see what we get. And so we can see that, yep, that's a Boolean. So true, yeah, true is definitely a Boolean. Let's try the next one. So print type variable 3. Well, what would I get? Well, what's a 7? What's 7? Do you know what it is? If you said integer, you're right. Now, keep in mind, man, computer scientists are some of the laziest people you are ever going to meet. And so if they can abbreviate it, they are totally going to do that. All right, so type variable 4. All right, so that's 1.7. So what type is that? Did you say float? Because that's exactly what it is. Computers are never wrong. All right, so let's talk about concatenation. That is a big word to spell, I'll tell you what. And I want to show you just using a comma. We're going to be able to do, no, not compile. Thank you very much. All right. So I'd like you to print something, print, all right. And here I'm going to say, here are 4 random variables concatenated together. Okay, so let's just print that and just see what happens. All right, here are 4 random variables concatenated. Let me, if I just change this, it'll all fit. There we go, together. And see, it does some weird hyphenating there in the program, and it's not showing anything else. So that's because there's really nothing else yet to show. So let's kind of continue on here. So if I do comma and put in like variable name, and let's print it, we can see it says text. And I'm going to add a comma again and say, hey, how about variable 2? And we'll print it. And we can see it says true. Yep, because that's what that is. And I could add yet another comma and say variable name 3 and print it. And we can see it says, I think it's thinking here. Come on. Text true. And we'll give them, it's being grouchy. Let's just give it a second here. Let's do the next one. Variable 4. There we go. Come on. And let's print it. There we go, 7, 1.7. Not sure why it wasn't showing up there for a second. I think it was an internal glitch there. So there I've just basically it just kind of, I don't want to say string because I don't want you to think it's just text, but it's joined them together using the comma. So there we go. So that's how we can do some concatenation. I want to show you another version of concatenation. And this is just using the plus symbol. All right, what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that guy. Okay. So print, and let's say 5 plus, and what were my variables before? 7 and 1.7. So let's say 7 plus 1.7. All right, so print 1. All right, that's what I have up there. Yep, 7 and 1.7. So let's print that, and we can say, oh, look, it prints 8.7. Well, okay, well, what did it do? Well, it added those together. It actually just did the math for me. So that's pretty cool. This program's pretty smart. I could do the same thing here this way, right? And just say, subtract. This is not concatenation. This is more your basic arithmetic. But just kind of want to show you that. All right, let's say how about compared to verse, print 5, 7. All right, well, let's see what happens here. And here we can say it does actually, let me just get rid of that one because it's going to confuse us. Let's print it again. All right, so here it added those together, 7 and 1.7, or let me just kind of a match there even. And here it just kind of, joins them together. So I get 57, where here it's actually adding them together, and I'm getting 6.7. So just kind of showing you the difference. And just, you could do something similar here with print. And again, just kind of show you we could do a string. Like I could say 5, 7, and let's print that. And you can say that. Now, but if I try, let's try a plus sign and see what happens. Yeah, I get an error message because we can't actually physically add the string, because the computer sees this as a string. So 5, the word 5 plus the integer 7, yeah, it can't do that because they're different data types. So there we go. We're kind of seeing that. So hopefully you can see the difference there. All right. So basically we declare variables, which we did here. We've declared a bunch of variables. We can get it to print stuff, and that's all well and good. But that's a very one-way street, and things definitely are not very interactive. And so I want to show you how we can, this input function allows the user to interact with the program. Okay, so we've been declaring variables, and so if I said, hey, let's declare a variable name and have it basically store my name, and now I'm going to tell it to print name. All right, so let's do that and see what happens. So here it says Adam, and if I change the name, Bill, it now says Bill. But that's pretty boring because the user doesn't have any ability to enter their own thing. So let's do that. So if I basically want to give the user the ability to do that, and we've done that in so many programs, right? Where we're like, hey, whatever the user puts in this text box, store that as the variable. Like recently we did it with the pizza app, right? Like what size is your pizza? And they would put 14, and then suddenly the input in that text box would be stored inside the variable. So I'm going to say input, quotation marks, what is your name? Question mark. All right, so let's hit play. And it says, what is your name? Well, my name is Adam. And it prints Adam. Now, notice that Adam and the questions all smashed together. So I want to add a space. And we did, again, a lot of this in App Inventor, adding those spaces so that things look better. So let's try this again. What is your name? This time I'm going to say Bill. And it prints Bill. All right, and so this basically allows the user to input some information. That information is then stored as the variable, in this case, name, and then I can print out that variable. And so that is how we can make that work. So in Python, you are going to be doing the following. You are going to ask the user their name. You are going to store the person's name as a variable. Using concatenation, the program should say hello to the person using their name. All right, I'm going to be looking for appropriate layout and space. And at this point, it's basically, I'm looking for a space between that question mark and then where the user input starts. And then, of course, you could do your beast mode where you're impressing your instructor by adding additional interactive features to the program. So feel free to ask me some additional questions or things like that, so it's more than one. Or, maybe you want to do something even fancier than that. All right, so looking forward to trying out your program, and I will talk to you